What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Conversation Series presented by Fandoms Anonymous. We are talking about a very peculiar topic, and it's COVID-19 in the classroom. We're in the middle of COVID-19, and apparently the world wants everybody to go back to school, but everybody doesn't agree with that. I know I don't. I got an illustrious panel of guests today. I got Miss TK Williams. Hey, TK.
Hey.
I got Miss Stephanie Poland. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Andre Briggs, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, sir?
All right. Last but not least, my high school math teacher that saved my life. He kept me from getting my behind tore up. Doug July.
How y'all doing, everybody?
And the very last, but not least, the one that kept me from getting killed at a very early age, Miss Jennifer Fields. How you doing?
Hey.
All right, let's get this thing started, man. So, as we've all seen, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Hope everybody been being safe, wearing your mask, getting everything done. And one of the most important things that's coming back around is school. Kids ended school at home this year, and the speculation is what is going to happen going forward. So I want to start with middle school, since that's what we got. We're going to start with middle school. So I'm going to go to Miss Stephanie. Looking at middle schoolers, especially sixth graders, they just coming out of fifth grade. They think they know something, but then they really don't know nothing. But they think that they're grown. They start spraying the Axe cologne and the bath sprays and stuff. How do you think? First of all, the first question is for you to introduce yourself, tell everybody what grade you teach, and
well, I am Stephanie Lucas Polonitz. I teach sixth grade U.S. history at Callaway Smith Middle School in downtown Mobile, Alabama. And I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's a good idea to bring these kids into this classroom right now. I'm willing to take the chance of looking into second quarter and just kind of going with the flow if we think it's better. But August the 10th for Mobile County, I think is a no-go. The numbers are jumping. Just the other day, about 5 days ago, our numbers in Mobile County increased by 100%. On Monday, it was 106 people, and on Tuesday, it was 203. So this is not going away right now, and the CDC is saying that we haven't even hit the peak yet. So I just do not understand why we would want to send these children back to school with the teachers being at a higher risk than the children, because our age group of teachers is the age group from, I guess, around 25, 30 years old and older. Those are the high-risk people, and those are the people in the classroom. So my opinion as a middle school teacher is we do not need to have these kids back in school right now.
I want to jump over to, it makes me think about, what if this happened during my time in school? I was in school from 96 all the way to 2009. And I most of y'all don't know my mom. My mom Chris. I probably would have been at school with a hazmat suit on. Like, it wasn't gonna be no. You go on to school, suit up. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And I look at a lot of parents who were complaining about the fact that their kids had to come home in the first place. So they're ready for them to go back, but it's like you're basically putting your kid in the fire. You know, and it's so much going on. Like you said, Stephanie, it's not stopping no time soon. It's not stopping. Stuff is still happening. Every time these new test results are coming out, who knows how long they've been testing people. And then, bam, here goes another 1,500 cases. Here goes another 100 cases. Here goes another 300 cases. This whole area right here needs to shut down. These stores are still open. Now, anytime you go in the store, you got to have a mask on. So what do you think about the fact that they're asking, Stephanie, they're asking kids to have masks, and they're going to have all this hand sanitizer and all these rules and precautions? Like, it's to the point where it's a deadly situation. It's too much.
I mean, if we are made to go back into the classroom, having the masks, having the hand sanitizers and the Lysol and all that, it's going to have to be on hand. The children are going to have to wear the mask. They're going to have to keep them on, because the classroom is not big enough to space 25 to 30 kids, and sometimes over 30, 6 feet apart. I mean, even if you skip a desk, that's still not even 6 feet.
It's not.
Yeah. So,
I mean, like
I just think it's dangerous.
It's not like the classrooms are gymnasiums. You know,
no.
Like you said, normal classrooms are 25 to 30 people.
And
cut that down to about 15.
I went to my school today actually just to kind of see what was going on and what I needed to do in my classroom. My principal came down and she said, okay, well, you got to change your desks first because all of the desks have to face in the same direction. So I got 35 desks. They got to all face in the same direction. So that required me moving things that have been in place, like reading tables, computer tables, all that sort of stuff. Along with the fact that she said, oh, you don't have a rolling cart. You're going to have to move from class to class. The children are going to be staying in one room. I don't know how you're going to have middle school to high school students trying to stay in one room for 7 hours a day. I'll say 5 hours because you got PE, you got lunch, you got breaks. But 5 hours a day,
the food to them.
Well, they are going to do that. That is the plan for them to eat in the classroom. The children are not supposed to move. They're supposed to move as minimal as they can. So restroom, and that's pretty much it throughout the course of the day. So it's going to be rough.
I was looking at something when it comes to Georgia schools. They were basically saying if there was a kid that came to class and they were sick and they supposedly have COVID-19 or symptoms thereof, that teacher has to go quarantine with that student. They call the parent come pick the child up, they come pick the child up. If the parent is not able to come pick the child up, then they have to said teacher, said student have to get on bus with bus driver to transport the child home. Then said teacher and bus driver are at risk now. So that means they have to quarantine. So now you're putting a teacher and a bus driver out of work for 14 days. I mean, we could even look at it some of the most simple stuff. Just right now, they got the NBA players in Disney World. They got them all in the bubble. One NBA player from the Sacramento Kings hit the bubble, went to go get some food from the Uber Eats, and now he has quarantined for 10 days. So you might not get to play because you were just hungry instead of eating what was there. So next I'm going to go over to TK. TK, you're in high school teaching right now. Looking at your school, and that's another thing, I appreciate you breaking down how it is for your school. TK, breaking down your school, of course, let us know where you're teaching and what grade. How do you feel about everything?
I'm right now at Viger High School. And so from what I've been told or from what I've just heard, that the high schoolers are still changing classes. Like I have three blocks of classes. So that means that the students are going to change classes in high school. I'm not exactly, we don't know exactly what the plan is when it comes to them just moving in a certain, strategic way. So I think they're going to be unveiling those plans with us, I think, within the next couple of days, because I got a call from the school today saying that they're going to be sending out emails soon. So that means that central office must be communicating some things with them to give to us in concerning this situation. I mean, personally, I think I was more of a fan of the hybrid, just looking at how some of the other states were possibly doing it. They was giving options of online schooling, and but they was also doing the hybrid method in which the kids would come to school for like 2 days, and then they'll spend like some other days at home while they quarantine, re-clean the school and everything. I think right now, honestly, it's just a little bit too dangerous. The risk of, especially with high school, since they possibly are changing classes, is going to, increase my risk of possible exposure. And then especially having family members that, I'm around that that have like pre-existing health conditions like diabetes, heart disease, things like that. Those are, high risk people that I come in contact with, if not on a daily or on a weekly basis. So, I take that into, a big consideration when it comes to my family members' health at risk.
And that's very important is you're sending people out into the world to be at risk and then come home and bring everybody else at risk. Because I'm pretty sure I know I've done it. You don't know where your family member may or not have been, but it's like your family, like, y'all come on by the house, y'all good, you know what I'm saying? But really, you don't know. You don't know who you've been around. Before, I got 2 administrators in here, but I want to get to July. July, let me know what you think, because you're going 9 through 12, so you're spanning 4 different grades, 4 different opportunities for people being at risk. What do you think about your school as a whole and how everything's moving?
I'm in agreement with TK and Stephanie with what they've said. From a spiritual standpoint, it's all about believing and trusting God, because these people that are in charge making these decisions, I do not trust. So of course I'm in a position where I can't just throw in the towel and say, well, I'm not going to work. Well, whatever they say has to be done, I have to do for the most part. So I'm going to trust God and see what happens. Now, as far as now, I'm sorry, I teach at Blount High School, Algebra 1, Geometry, Analytical. This past year I taught Algebraic Connections, Algebra 2 Trig. But Blount High School is one of the few schools that actually have nice classroom sizes. You can get 20 kids in a classroom and they could be socially distanced because the classrooms are pretty big. Now, the hallway, moving in the hallway, one thing that I noticed about being at Blount, this is my first year this past year, there are weeks where Spirit Week, homecoming, there's a lot to do as a student. All of that's going to be cut out. I wonder how that's going to kill the school spirit, as well as Blount for the longest. I graduated from Blount 24 years ago. Football season was everything. If there's no school, of course, there's no extracurricular activity. Right now, Blount has probably the best band in Mobile, and that's probably going to cut out some things also. And I'm bringing those things up because, yes, I'm an educator now, but as a kid, I went to school because the football game for Friday.
Yeah.
I was going to band practice every day. That's why I went to school.
I mean, it's no way to put it. Like, yeah, this class stuff nice, but band practice is gonna be about 3 hours, and then we're gonna go on to the house. I mean, and that's another, like you said, that's very important. With the kids are gonna feel like they're in prison. They already don't want to be at school in the first place, but now you tell them they gotta be in this one room, they gotta eat this meal in this one room, they can't leave this one room. You go to the bathroom, you're gonna get chaperoned to the bathroom to make sure you ain't going and unsocially distancing with other folks. You know what I'm saying? So everything's gonna be everything is gonna be on high tension. It's gonna be high tension. Next, I want to go to Dre. Dre, you are an assistant principal and you're in Texas. So you're in Texas, everybody else is in Alabama. What do you think about everything breaking down?
Yeah, again, my name is Andre Briggs, and I am an assistant principal of operations with KIPP Texas Public Schools, specifically KIPP Oak Cliff Academy, which is a high school out here in South Dallas. South Dallas is a low income, it's a very vulnerable area in terms of like the population, the socioeconomic factors that play a part into a lot of what we're trying to voice to our regional peers and all of our superintendents around the state. And so, you know, we're still exploring like those different options of how to successfully kind of manage this whole thing and like provide something to where it's like there's an option for us to be able to practice, still educate and still do what we need to do to serve our students, but still be responsible in the fact of their safety, right? And then their family's safety and take into account each one of their individual situations. Everybody's kind of mentioned like a lot of their concerns from the teaching perspective. I think I handle more so the front office and the logistics of the school. So logistically, things like class sizes and things like Mr. July mentioned in terms of like hallway space and things like that, like those things come up as a everyday concern whenever we were just normally going to school without pre-COVID. The other piece of that is really just making sure that we're doing right by the students in terms of their education virtually. And I'm not sure how everybody did in Alabama, but here in Texas, specifically here at our high school, it was a challenge for them to just do like virtual, whenever they're in high school, and just like we all were in high school at one point in time, like, you think you can do some of these things, you're like, I don't want to go to school or whatever the case may be. But then lo and behold, 2 or 3 weeks into virtual learning, and everybody's like, Mr. Briggs, like, when are we going to come back to school? Like, we miss you guys. And, whatever the case may be, like, I didn't think I was going to, miss school like that or whatever. And they really miss that person to student, that adult to student kind of relationship that they were able to build. And with the charter school, it's so, we're small, right? We have 9th through 11th grade. Our high school just opened up in 2018. So we're building out. So we have last year it was just 9th to 10th grade. So it was like 200 students, total. And so you got that small, intimate kind of class setting. So they get to know you a lot. I coached the basketball team along with being an AP. And so, I know some of the boys on a different level. I know there's some of their home situations. So not being able to have that and be able to check in with them on a day-to-day basis for me has been like one of the more challenging things. And that's the part that is very hard once we talk about going into this upcoming year and possibly having to do this for an entire year, depending on how this pandemic kind of, plays itself out. And, everything that goes into that, I'm sure all you guys know as well, everyone that's on the call is it's a challenge to be able to make sure that they stay engaged on a day-to-day basis for 4 to 5 hours at a time, while their parents are out working and doing what they need to do to provide for their families. So it's a challenge. Our region is still, like I said, weighing that out, and we're supposed to be communicating now, like TK mentioned. We're supposed to be communicating now something similar to our families here over the next couple of days in regards to what their options are. And that's pretty much what we have going on.
Most definitely. Miss Jennifer Fields, you are a 10th and 11th grade guidance counselor. So you're responsible for seeing all of those children in those levels. And especially, and this is very vital, you're preparing them for college, or the mindset of college and the mindset of their classes in their 10th grade, 11th grade year, which of course is going to get them to the finished product of graduating. So how does that work for you as a whole?
Well, I agree with DJ. This whole COVID, we just got to put our faith and trust in God, because at this point, it's not about if you're going to get it, it's when you're going to get it. Because we're not staying home. We're not doing what we need to do. Everybody's going wherever they want to go. We're partying. We're going to whomever house, and we don't know where those people have been. So it's not if you're going to get it, it's when you're going to get it. And I mean, hopefully with your faith and trust in God, you can recover. But coming from a high school counselor standpoint, I know the first 2 weeks of school, we're dealing with kids and parents in our face in the lecture room for almost 2 weeks. Kids that wait until the last minute to claim they've moved into our district where we got to sit, and then we're calling all the other high schools trying to get them released, and they're just sitting there until we can get them a schedule. And then sometimes it's like, well, hey, come back in 2 days, come back in 3 days, because first of the week of school, everybody's trying to do the same thing that everybody's doing, trying to get people enrolled, trying to get them a schedule. So it's rough. It's definitely going to be rough, because when we're not in that big room, we're down in our little guidance suite, which is probably about the size of a matchbox. So I don't know. I think reopening is, at this point, is not going to be good for any of us, because like I said, we're not sitting still. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're still going here and going there and being around these people, and we don't know what those people have been. So we're still endangering our family, our friends. We're still endangering, putting people in danger. And more people are going to be put in danger once the schools open.
My question to you, and this is going to be a question for everybody, if a vaccine came out tomorrow, would you be okay going back to school?
No.
And why?
Tomorrow, no. After it's been tested and ran and been around the world and came back, maybe yes, but not at this point, no.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like the necessary things have been done for them to perfect it, or for them to make it where it's going to be helpful and not hurtful.
Gotcha. July, same question to you.
Yeah, I would have to see how it affects others who've taken it. I'm not going to be one of the first test dummies.
Right.
So similar to what she said, I have to wait and see how it affects other people, the world, not just other people similar to me.
Right. So, get that first vaccine. They say, you can grow an extra ear or something, but you ain't got corona no more. You're good. Dre, same question to you. If there was a vaccine that came out tomorrow, would you go back?
No, man. I think it's too early. There's a lot going on in terms of like people kind of letting it run its course and recovering from it and then catching it again, right? It's just like from what I understand of it, it's just like it's a different version of the flu, right? And folks still get the flu all the time. Folks die of the flu. I wouldn't be knowledgeable enough to say like that this is worse than the flu. It's just running its course, just like the flu did, however many years ago when it first came out, and they were trying to fight it and trying to figure it out. So I think it's too early to and then being mindful of the fact that like if there even is one, how much is it going to cost, right? Going back to like the families that we particularly serve, are they going to be able to afford it? When are they going to be able to get into it, into the healthcare facility? Because I'm not sure about how it was in Alabama, but back out here when it first started, it took a while, and speaking on behalf of like enrollment, like we're trying to get people to turn in their shot records and things like that. And parents can't get into the clinic because by the time they did reopen, they were reopening like once a week between 12 to 5. There's thousands of people that are trying to get into that same clinic at that same 5-hour time block. So, when people are going to be able to access that, is it going to be affordable? Those are just still a lot of like unknowns. And I mean, regardless, like I think it was Ms. Fields was saying, we're not doing what we're supposed to do anyways, at this point in terms of like people still going to the store, right? And so going to school is another thing of like, is another part of like not essentially doing or can be considered not doing what we're supposed to do, which is kind of, hunkering down. And if we do hunker down and stay quarantined, what does that mean whenever we actually come out, right? Because when we do come out, say if we just sat around in the house, it didn't go anywhere, now our immune systems are shot anyways because we haven't been outside for however long. And so then there's a whole nother, residual effect or a causality, I guess, if you will. So.
Yeah. And I'm walking through Walmart earlier today. I'm looking at school supplies. I'm like, oh, this school supply they folks finna really go back to school. Like they really, because we have to look at it. If people don't go back to school, a lot of places lose money. You don't go back to school, no school supplies, no uniforms being bought. And that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. You can't help but look at it for what it is. If there's no school, there are things that are not going to be bought. So there are going to be people and companies that are not going to make money. July, what you got to say about that?
The same companies who's already lost money that they usually make around Easter.
Yeah. So they trying to recoup. They're trying to recruit. Please let school back in. We need to sell these pencils. We need to sell these khaki shorts and these white button downs and all these different color button downs. We need to sell all this paper and pens, all glue, all this type of stuff. That stuff has to be sold. Ms. Stephanie, the same question to you. If there was a vaccine that came out, would you be ready to go back to school?
Pretty much agree with everybody else. No, anything has to have test and trial period. So you got to test it. You got to test it again. You got to test it again. You have to test constantly. And, the first people that need to be tested are the ones that are in the hospital, these people who are sick and dying from this virus. We need to see if it's going to save them. And like you said, what side effect is there going to be? Yeah, you may not have COVID anymore, but it's going to give you high blood pressure. Is it going to give you some other disease? It's so many different factors to taking some experimental drug right off the back and say, oh, we got a vaccine now. Everybody, let's go to school. I don't think that's a good idea. If they did come up with the vaccine, I'm just blunt. I just do not think it's a good idea to go to school in less than a month. I don't think the country is ready for this. And I read and I can't remember the name of the article, but in an article, and it was published through the CDC, and they said that the highest spike is probably going to take place when schools and universities open.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I read it.
You have a lot of universities that are not opening. They're choosing not to open. I'm going to throw it to TK for you as well. Same question. If there was a vaccine, would you be ready to go back to school?
I mean, just like everyone else, the answer is going to be no. Just think about it. Thinking about it from a scientific standpoint, I would have to see exactly what it's made from, because different type of organic things can affect your proteins in a certain way. It could affect various types of like things in your body that you're not fully aware of that could alter proteins or what have you. The other thing that I would have to see is definitely the environmental factors definitely play a big play in when it comes to a vaccine. So I would have to see it tested not only on different ethnicities, but also those ethnicities in different types of environments, because however your environment is, it affects your immune system in different ways. So I would definitely have to see it being played out, in different ways, and then some type of article to come out about exactly how those test trials go. The sad thing about it is when it comes to a vaccine, it probably will not reach our communities in a timely fashion. So it's definitely going to start up at top first, and then it's going to work its way down. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I even saw I don't know if it was an article or I was looking at the news station that said that if they come out with a vaccine, that they're going to serve it to the military people first. So it's not even going to reach the public. Even if they come out with a vaccine in a timely manner, it's going to go through the military and to our probably like government officials first before it even reach the public, to the people who's being killed at who's dying at this at a higher rate than anyone else.
It's a lot to think about. It makes me, like I said, all I can do, because I'm not in school now, but all I can do is I can look back to when I was in school, and I would wonder how this would have worked. But when I was in school, there were things in place, there were the right people in place, the right mindsets in place, and that was a different time and age. And Dre, you brought up about the flu when it took place. It was like first part, late 1800s. Stephen, don't flunk my paper if I'm wrong, please. Don't. You're the history teacher around here. But so many people died, like hundreds and thousands of people died but of course, those parameters that we have now in medicine and everything weren't in place. So people were just dropping. So it's not to say that people are not still perishing from coronavirus or COVID-19 right now. It's just that we have more things put in place medical wise to keep people going and to help people get over it. But overall, I want to thank all of y'all for coming on here and talking about this important issue. It's so important. It's so vital. I know every last one of y'all are all amazing educators. Some of y'all have taught me. I know I was hard to handle because I wasn't that bad. I just ain't pay attention sometimes. But yeah. But most definitely, man, I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all be safe in your teaching, whatever it is that they do this year. Be safe. I know you all are going to make the best decisions. And we want to know what y'all think about this. So let us know in the comments below what do you think about people going back to school, kids, teachers, administrators, janitors, nurses, cafeteria workers, the school as a whole, bus drivers. Let us know what you think in the comments below on this video. Please share. Let's get this awareness out to let everybody know how we feel and what we're looking for to happen. And we wanted everybody to be safe. That's the most thing of all. But thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all in another video.